Hi, everyone. Good morning, everybody. If you're here to learn how to make the zippered pouch, you are in the right place because we are going to be making a zippered pouch today. We're going to be learning how to make this one in particular. I'm super excited to show you this because it is super, super easy. And because we are live today, I have the camera already pointed down at the work area or workspace. And of course, I'm dropping things everywhere because, you know, it wouldn't be a crafty author video if I wasn't dropping stuff everywhere, right? Good morning. Good morning to everybody. I'm trying to read these comments, but I have the camera tipped down, so I can't see very well. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. I'm excited to do this. I haven't done a live in a very, very, very long time, and I think we need to do more of them. So they're so much fun. I'm going to give it another 2 minutes because I did say that the video would start at 10 a.m. And so we've got about 2 minutes left, and then we'll jump right into it. So I will start. Aw, thank you, Kara. Good morning, Beth. I hope you all are doing well today. Can you believe it's already Wednesday? My goodness. My, how the time goes by, right? It goes by so fast. I feel like there's never enough time in the day to get all the projects done that I want to do. Hi, Monica. Welcome. I think you all are going to be fascinated at how quickly this little pouch goes together. I couldn't even believe it myself, to be honest, but it's this little pouch here in case you haven't seen it. It's a zippered pouch. I use this one in my purse, and I absolutely love it. Hi, Beverly. So there's a couple of ways that you could do this, but I'm going to show you a very simple way to do this today. So this is kind of a beginner's pouch maker video, I guess we could call it that. This is where I have all my lip gloss and chapstick goodies in here. I am a big lip gloss fan, in case you didn't know. Lip gloss, Hello Kitty, anything cute. I love it. If it's pink, I love it. So anyway, so this is the pouch that we're gonna make. And so I will go over the items that you're gonna need. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna move this notification out of here. All right, so you are going to need 2 5x8 pieces of outer fabric or faux leather or vinyl or whatever it is you're going to use for your outside. I'm going to use this really cool hot pink faux leather ribbon that I picked up over at Hobby Lobby on just a little spool in the ribbon section. This stuff is amazing. Look at the back of it. That's what it looks like. It's got like a felt backing on it. And this stuff is really fun to sew with. I'm really having a good time sewing with that. It's the same as this. So it works great for an outer piece. Then you're going to need 2 5x8 pieces for your lining. So I'm going to go ahead and use this beautiful fabric because it has some really nice pink in it, and I think it goes very well. The next thing that you will need is a zipper. You're going to need at least probably a 9-inch zipper because it's a standard. Hi! And so you'll need that. We're going to go with hot pink. I cut an extra piece of fabric that was 3 inches long, and then I folded it in half. It's called Beverly. It's faux leather ribbon. So what I did was I just cut this long piece from my fabric. It was 3 inches wide, and then I folded it in, and pressed. I know, Kara. See, it's never ending, right? I should stay out of Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's. So it's just this long strip. And so we'll end up cutting this down because we don't need a handle that's going to be, you know, this long when we fold it in half. But I cut it just off the fabric and just went with it, and then I'll cut it. Yeah, you'll see. It'll be fun. And then I have a tag for the inside of the bag. So I always put my tag inside so that you know who made it. And I will link to the shop that made my new tags on Etsy. And we are ready to get started. You're going to need some scissors. I'm going to use my sharp little snips. We will need a turning tool. Your crack houses. I love it. Your turning tool you'll need, or a chopstick, or whatever you use to turn your fabrics. You are going to maybe need a seam ripper. Gosh, I hope we don't need this, but you know, you always need to have one around. I also have a lead that just in case when we're sewing, because you know, sometimes these fabrics can get very, very thick. You're going to need some clips or some pins. Thread, sewing machine. Try to think of what else. Maybe a bigger pair of scissors in case you need to cut some more. These little snips that I use are extremely sharp. So these are Ginger. Just so you know, I'll just show you these up front. These are Ginger snips, and they come with that little leather covering. These are super, super sharp, and they cut so very well. I use these also as sewing, not these as sewing scissors, but I have a pair of Ginger sewing scissors that I've had for many years, and they are perfect. I love them so much. So we are going to start. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stitch on this piece that we're going to use for our handle, because I want to go ahead and get this just right out of the way to begin with. So I am just going to put this under the sewing machine, and I'm going to change my needle to push it over to the right a little bit more so that this will give it a more professional look. And I'm going to move my needle over to 6.5. You will have to play with that on your own machine because every sewing machine is different and they all vary. So we're just going to stitch. And I could probably just stop there because I know we're not going to need that long of a tail. And then we're going to stitch down the other side. Okay, now that just gives us a really nicely finished looking handle for our little pouch. So this can be used in another project, or you can toss it, or you can cut it up and turn it into squares, or I don't know, a strip quilt, something. So I'm just going to toss that aside for now. And now we have a handle that looks like this. And again, I think this is a little bit big still yet, so I'll probably go ahead and just trim this. Just like that. That looks about the right size to me. So you don't want it too long. You can play with it, give or take there. So I will tell you, it is currently finished is 13 inches long. Okay, so that's 13 inches. And now we're going to start assembling our bag. So what we want to do is we want to take our lining piece, just one lining piece, and we're going to face that face up. And then we're going to take our zipper, And actually, we might want to cut this zipper to the same length as our project here. So we can mark that. See, and I don't know where I put all my stuff. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this water-soluble marker here, and I'm going to mark on my zipper, and I'm just going to mark right here, just right at the edge there. And then I'm going to mark just right here at the edge here. And I'm going a little beyond, like a quarter beyond where my zipper actually is. Just so you know, it's always better to cut less and have more to contend with, because if you cut it wrong the first time, then you're going to need a whole new zipper, and that is not fun. So you want to unzip this, and you want to be careful not to unzip it all the way, because if you do, then you will not be able to use your zipper. So let's carefully do this. So I'm going to go ahead and snip here, because this is where I have my mark. And now our zipper should be fitting our fabric pretty well, perfectly, and it does. So now what I'm going to do, if you're afraid that you're going to continually maybe knock this part of the zipper off because you don't have anything to stop it, you can always put some tape here, and you can tape that there, and that will help hold that in place. But when I'm trying to position, all I do is I just take one of my little clips and I clip it. And I will do the same thing for the back side as well, until I get it completely positioned onto my fabric. So now what I'm going to do is lining side, face side up, and then I'm going to put my zipper on here, and I am going to line my raw edge to my raw edge here. You can also use a glue stick to hold your zipper down, or you can use heat and bond, seam tape, or anything that might make it easier. I'm used to working with zippers, and so just clipping them down isn't that big of a deal to me anymore. You will want your zipper to be face side up. So you'll want your zipper teeth and your pull facing you, just like I have it here. So you can see here's the zipper pull. That is going to need to be face side up. So it can be a little tricky sometimes when you're working with lining. So, and if you're working with directional fabric, it gets even more tricky. So anyway, but we're not doing that today, so that's a good thing. I recommend that if you're not familiar with pouches and directional fabric and that sort of thing, and this is a beginner's project for you, to keep it simple until you get the hang of it, because it can get very frustrating. Just my personal opinion. So do what works best for you, but it can be sometimes a little frustrating. Okay, so there's that. And then what I want to do, because we're going to put our face, sorry, jumping the gun here. We want to put our main fabric face right side down. So you want your right sides facing each other. There, finally got that out. Whew, tongue twister. Okay. Trying to talk and think at the same time is just not working out for me today. But I'm excited that we're here doing this because, like I said, it's been a long time, you know. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to use a zipper foot. And that means I have to take my walking foot off of here because that's what I have been using. I love my walking foot, by the way. And you could also do this with a walking foot, but honestly, you really want to do whatever is kind of easiest. And using the zipper foot is really, it makes using and installing a zipper the most easiest way to do this. So on. And we are working on the Janome 9400 QCP today. I love this machine. It is definitely a workhorse. And actually, it's probably about time for me to take her in and have her cleaned and serviced. I like to take my machines in once a year. Okay. Obviously, I'm having trouble putting it on. And trust me, it's just user error. It's not anything that's wrong with the machine. It's just me today, see? Okay. All right, so now I'm going to, I can feel here on my lining side that that's where the zipper is, right here, the zipper teeth. So I'm going to put my foot right here. And I'm going to guide on that, but I'm going to use my zipper foot setting on my machine. And most machines come with a zipper foot, so you should be able to move your needle and stuff with that. So I'm going to just do that, and then I'm going to tell it to sew right along that edge. And I know you can't see my needle position because of the way I have to have the camera set up, but the needle is actually going to go right along that edge here and stitch super close. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start. And then I am going to do just a little tiny little back stitch. You don't have to because everything is going to get enclosed anyway, but I like to do it. It's just a habit. So we're just going to sew down. I'm going to take my clips off as I go along, okay? And we're going to get closer to this, to the zipper pull itself. And you don't want to have that knock your needle because it will break it. And it could throw off your machine too. So you want to reach in here with your hand underneath, and you're going to want to grab that zipper pull, and you're going to want to have your needle down in your fabric when you do this, and you're going to want to zip it and pull it down. So now my zipper pull is down here, and I can continue stitching along this edge to attach it. And my chair is squeaky today. So, okay, so we got something there. Okay, so we have that part done. And now we're going to look at it here. Okay. So we're going to flip our lining piece open, and you can see we have it attached to our zipper here. Okay, so you should have something that looks a little weird like this. So what we want to do is we want to use our fingers to press this, our lining piece, just down along that seam. If you want to take it to the ironing board at this point, you certainly could, but I'm not going to iron over this because that would not be very good. So I'm just going to fold. As you can see, I'm just folding, and that is because of the materials that I am working with. Now, like I said, if you had fabric, you would want to take this and press it over at the pressing board. So what I'm going to do is I'm folding this to get this, folding it to get it as even as I can so that I can put a clip here that's going to hold this in place, right? Like that. And then I'm also going to do the same here at the bottom because I want my piece to be pretty even because I'm going to stitch again. I'm going to do a top stitch. And I want to make sure that all of my pieces are lining up. And this is an important step because when you go to put this all together and sew the whole bag together, you're going to want to make sure that everything is lined up. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a top stitch. And all I'm going to do is move my needle over again. Now it's going to be moved to the left side to sew right along this edge here. And I will show this to you once I'm done doing that. And I'm just gonna let my, see now this fabric is very thick. I'm gonna let my foot be the guide there. You wanna go slow and take your time. You don't wanna rush through anything. I'm gonna open the zipper pull and pull it away again, just to be careful. I don't wanna hit that. Come on, zipper pull. And of course it wants to be difficult because we're live. And any other time it wouldn't be like that. Okay, so let's just keep stitching down. So we have it done. We have our first side done. And now you will see that we've top stitched that down. And this is what it will look like on the back side. Okay, so now we're ready to put on our other side to the lining. So we're going to put our lining and our fabric piece on this side of the zipper. So same thing, lining side up, and this time we're going to put the zipper on like this. And now I think that I have the zipper on, I could probably actually really cut that, but I'll wait. Now, I also like to line up my pieces for this as well. So I will pop a clip on the side here to ensure that everything is nice and straight. So I want to make sure that this raw edge here is straight with this edge here, as you can see, okay? So we have our zipper pull, or zipper that we're sticking onto our lining fabric. Like I said, nice side facing up. And then our zipper is also right side facing up. So you should be able to see your zipper pull when you're putting it on top of your zipper or on your lining. And then we're going to line our sides up again right here. And then we're good. So there's that. And now we're going to take our other main piece and we're going to put that face down. So we should have our main piece face down on our zipper. So we just do that, and then we just pop these clips that we already have on here, and we just add that main piece there. And that keeps everything all together and nice and even. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just pull the clip that's holding all the sides together and all the layers and just hold it together like that. And that helps so that it won't move while we're sewing. And then I am going to pop that zipper pull just a little bit. We want to pull that down because, again, we don't want to break our needle or mess up our machine with that zipper pull being there. So, and you can actually see inside right there, that zipper pull. And all I'm doing is just taking my hand and just unzipping it. So I'm going to start sewing, and I want to make sure that I know where that is. Okay, so that's what we shall do. Here we go. This is attaching all of the pieces, the lining, the zipper, and our outer fabric. And you could use a stiletto for this, and it would probably work a whole lot better than using your fingers. But I'm using my fingers. So now I'm going to reach in underneath, and I'm going to pull that zipper pull now and move it down because I've already sewn to that point, and I need to move it so that I can continue on. And again, it's going right up against that zipper. And that's exactly what we want it to do. Okay. So that part is finished. And now we are able to open up this lining and press. Okay, and I'm just using my fingers for that. And then we're going to flip this part over, and you can see that we've got that part attached here. And I think I'm gonna put a clip there. And I'm just finger pressing. Now again, like I said earlier, this all depends on what kind of fabric you're working with. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, and that is line up my edges here. And that's going to help me keep everything nice and so if it doesn't work the first time, then it's okay. You just keep working with it a little bit. Now mine's a little bit off, so I need to work with my fabric just to move it around a little bit. And fabric is pretty good about being, you know, you can kind of stretch it. You don't really want to stretch it too much, but if you need to move it around, popping those clips everywhere over here, it will help you to kind of move things around and shift it. So do what you need to do to get it evened up. This side is going to have a little bit of excess, as you can see, but I'll take care of that here after I stitch this down. I'm not worried about it, and if it happens to you, you shouldn't be worried about it either. Okay, so now we're going to just top stitch all the way down to hold that seam in place. Unzip my zipper and keep stitching. And then I'm going to remove my clip because I don't want to hit the clip either. Okay, and voila. Okay, so we have made it this far. Now I'm going to trim . I'm just trimming the excess off right there. So now everything looks nice and even, okay? So now what we're ready to do is we are ready to start sewing our bag together. And the way that we do this is we're gonna put our two shiny sides together. So your two outer pieces are gonna go together. And you're just gonna fold them like that. So I'll do that again. So you see how you have your, this is how it will look to you when you are finished. You're going to take your two outer pieces and put them together. And then I'm going to clip and clip and clip because you know I like to clip. So I will do that there. And then I'm going to take our handle. And this is when you want to put your handle into place as well. So what I will do is I will put it, I like to put it on the opposite side here. And so I put it the opposite side of the zipper pull. This is the opposite side. Hi, Chris. And then I'm going to put my nice side that isn't raw edged, because you see these two raw edges. those are going to face the outer edge. So it'll be raw edge to raw edge. And I'm just going to tuck that inside. And then I'm going to center this where I want this to be. And I'm going to let it stick out just a little bit so that I know that that is where that is. Okay. So that part is done. We've got that placed now. And then for the lining, I like to put my tag in here as well. But first, we need to get the zipper situated. So I'm going to pull that, and then I'm going to just fold. You can see how it's folding on its own. So it will fold. If you're working with fabric, you will need to nest it. You will need to have your zipper fabric or your fabric going this way and then another one going that way to nest it. But because of the fabric that I'm using, that's not going to work. So I have tried and I have tried and I have tried. It does not work. So we're just gonna let it do what it needs to do. And then you're gonna want to leave an opening. So I'm going to leave an opening down here at the bottom, a small opening. And on top of that, you also want to make sure that your bag, that your zipper is open, halfway opened inside of your bag. Because if we don't do that, then when we go to turn it, we're going to have a bag that's all sewn together and we won't be able to do anything with it. So I am just, like I said, letting it kind of go where it wants to, and that way with the zipper right there. And I need to really even that up there. Okay. And if you feel like it's not laying flat enough, you can just keep adding clips. It'll help it to lay for you. Now, you can use your zipper foot to continue to sew this together, but I am not. I'm going to put on my my walking foot. And I just find that the walking foot does so much better going over all of these layers. So if you are more comfortable using your zipper foot, then I say do it. And if I was working with straight fabric, I might be more inclined to just do that. But because this faux leather ribbon is a little bit thicker and has a tendency to stick to your plate, your sewing plate, I would recommend using a walking foot. So, but it turns out beautiful. You're going to see here just a minute how awesome this is. So use whatever tools you have. All right, we are ready. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to start on this side and I'm going to sew all the way around our bag until I get to here. And then I'm going to backstitch and I'm going to stop and I'm going to leave this part open. So that's how we're going to do this. I'm also going to take my tag and I'm going to put this inside my lining here on my side, right there. And I'm going to do raw edge to raw edge and just pop it in there and clip. All right, we're on the home stretch here. So I'm going to start and then I'm going to backstitch. Now I'm going to go over and I'm going to backstitch. Now I want to make sure that that is not going to pop open when I go to turn it. So that's why I'm doing that. Okay. And then I'm just going to continue sewing. And I am using about 1/4 inch around here. I'm going to come on up over my zipper. Okay. I like to go a little slower when I'm going over a big hump there, and that was easier to do. It's easier to get over that if you go slow. Okay, we're going to sew over now our handle here, which I will probably go ahead and back stitch over since that's an actual handle. Going over the last bump of our zipper. We made it. Yay, we made it. Now I'm going to sew over my tag here. Okay. Coming up to the corner. And I'm going to stop and back stitch, and back stitch, just because we don't want that to come undone. All right, we are done sewing it. So now I'm going to clip my corners, and this is just going to help it to turn and reduce a little bit of that bulk. We don't want to cut directly on the seam, but you can see that I've cut those corners, and it doesn't have to be pretty. Some people are able to cut it really pretty. I am not. I just cut it, and if it works for me, it works for me. So, all right. So now we have the corners trimmed. All looks good that way. And now I'm going to reach in here in our little hole here. And I am going to make sure that my zipper is in there, and it is. You can see that zipper. I'm going to pull it as far down as I can get it to go now, because our zipper is now secured. So just makes it easier if you can do it early on. There we go. Come on. There we go. If you can't get it to open right away, don't worry about it. Start turning it anyway, and then you will be able to reach in there and do it. I just thought maybe I could do it, but apparently I can't yet. So we're going to turn these corners, and then I am going to start turning our bag inside out here. Now, remember, it depends on what kind of materials you're working with, on how easy this is going to be. This is easier to turn with straight fabric, and it's harder to turn with what I'm working with because it's a stiffer material, okay? But it's not impossible. So, as you can see, there's our handle, okay? And now I'm going to reach in through our opening here, and I'm going to start pushing this, the main part of our bag out. Just like this. And you want to be gentle because you don't want to poke a hole. I have done that. It's easy to get frustrated and not want to take your time, but slow and steady wins the race here. Okay. It's looking good. I'm just saying, I'm excited. I always get so excited to see the finished product, you know, because you just never know how things will turn out sometimes, and when they turn out perfectly, it's always a good day. Okay, so now is a good time to take your turning tool and to be very gentle when doing this, and start poking out some of the corners. And as you can see, I really need to be careful here because I could really easily put a hole right through my bag. Come on. There you go. Okay, found you. Let's go. like I said, this is the longest, most tedious part of the whole process. See, and because we're live, I can't just speed it up. When it's pre-recorded, we can always just speed these things up. But it's okay. We'll get there. We're gonna get there. Okay. So that side looks pretty good to me. And we gotta work this side out. Gotta make sure that we're all the way at the bottom with the seam. And we are here. Okay. See if my thumb can handle this today. I don't know that it can. It's also hard to do when you have a messed up hand. I have a lot of nerve damage in my hand from when I fell earlier this year. So, all right. Look at that. Ta-da! It looks great. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so here's our lining piece now. See our lining? And she looks gorgeous. There's the tag. You can see everything is in here. Everything's coming together so nicely. And then I am going to poke a hole there. And then I'm going to give my bag a tug. You can see that opening. If you tug it and pull it like that, a lot of times it will just fold in on itself and go together perfectly. And so I am just going to clip that part. And I'm gonna hold that together with those clips. I am going to trim this loose thread that I have here. We are almost done. And I am gonna go and I'm gonna close this up. I'm gonna do a really close stitch to the edge here and close that up with my sewing machine. You can hand sew that. A lot of people prefer to do that. I don't particularly care for hand sewing because I'm not very good at it. And so I'm just going to do a needle up, needle down though, because I don't want any nesting happening on the back side of my lining on the inside of this bag. And I'm just going to go ahead and start stitching that down. I'm going to back stitch. Now you want to make sure that this stays together because, you know, people are going to put things inside of here and you don't want your stuff falling through. So that's why this is important. Okay. And that is now done. So now our bag is stitched together. It's all closed. That lining is done. And we do need to still pop out the zipper a little bit before we pop in that lining, but I just want to do that right there. You can do that with your fingers. Just push that part out. Be careful when you're doing this because if you have your turner and you're pushing on that, you could poke a hole. I've done it. I've done that. Okay. And now we're going to push the lining all the way in there to make it set right. So I just take my two hands and I take my two middle fingers and I push them into the corners, and that sets that lining in there. And I take my whole hand and I want to set it in there and just push and make sure everything lays down, and that it looks nice. Just takes some working with. Let's see if I can get that out just a little more. Probably not though. And voila, you have a zippered pouch. How about that? I like to let it zip a couple of times before I start putting stuff in there. It just helps to keep it, you know, nice and helps loosen those zipper teeth and make sure that things are not caught and that sort of thing. So check this out. Now you could take it, you could put your phone in there, you could put your license, you could put your money, your chapstick. I mean, you could put whatever you wanted in here. You could put all those things in here at the same time. And now you have a fully functional pouch. So there's our handle, zipper, fully lined pouch. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you liked this live tutorial, please let me know in the comment section. And if you're not catching it live and you're doing the replay, please go ahead and hashtag replay down below so that I know when you're catching this video. And if you'd like to share it, that's great, because sharing is caring. And the more times it gets shared, the more my channel gets seen, and it brings out more, brings more people in, and I'm able to make more cool projects because it helps to keep the channel going. If you have any questions about this bag, please feel free to comment down below in the comment section, or you can contact me on Instagram, or you can contact me on Facebook. I have a private Facebook group too. If you're not part of that, you might want to join that. All of the links are down below in the description box. And keep on crafting. Thank you guys for joining me today. I had so much fun. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. Bye-bye.